Well, Dr. Miller here, and it's the drive time for home. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes here and just really talk about hormones and how your body makes hormones. So something to really, really think about is, we all think about the ovaries and the testes and, all the organs from which the body makes the hormones. But where's your body get the raw materials? And so, your liver produces 70% of your cholesterol that you need per day. So with or without any food intake or anything like that, your body will automatically produce 70% of the cholesterol it needs to make hormones and everything else that the body makes out of cholesterol. So first things first, where do you get that other 30%? And do you think that the quality of the components matter? And that's a big question mark. Does what you take in, does what you eat matter with the quality of hormone? When you're younger, it doesn't seem to. It seems like everything in your body is running like crazy. And as it runs like crazy, there's nothing that can stop it typically. Now we're starting to see some chinks in the armor as we're getting several generations now that are eating these highly processed foods. They're eating these high sugar foods, trans fat foods, all of that stuff. We're starting to see that they actually don't have the nutritional foundation that like my generation and the generations before us had. And how that affects them is they don't have a store of the raw materials. So now we're starting to see people have problems with being able to produce their hormones. We're seeing 20 and 30-year-olds. Now, I'm going to have a little bit of anecdotal evidence right here, but we're seeing 20 and 30-year-olds not being able to have children. And, when I was, I'm 54, so when I was growing up, that was a big thing, all the unwanted, unplanned pregnancies. It was there all the time. And now it doesn't seem to be that way. There's a glut, for lack of a better word, of people who cannot get pregnant. Well, good afternoon, Teresa. And so, since they can't get pregnant, what's changed? What has changed in the environment that will affect the human body? And think about it, in the 70s and 80s, that's when all of these low-fat foods started to come about. And what did they replace the fat with? Well, they replaced it with sugar, or they started to replace it with artificial ingredients. And it seems like that is starting to really play out as to how we make our hormones. And so for humans, we have to have good quality sources of fat. And we've become a fat-phobic society. But, you don't have to have just animal fat. You can get fat from avocados. You can get it from nuts and seeds. You can get them from eggs. There's all kinds of places to get fat. But the next thing you got to think about is you have to have high quality fats. The higher the quality of raw material that your body has to work with, the better that your body can make what it needs to make, whether that be short-chain fatty acids, whether that be neurotransmitters, whether that be hormones, whatever the case may be. And so we really have to start to think about that. And we really have to change our environment from where we have access to high sugar, low fat, crappy fat, trans fat foods to high quality foods and high quality sources of fat. When you get let's say you eat cashews. You want raw cashews because if you flip the bag over and it's salted, they roast those cashews, and then after they roast those cashews, they use some form of seed oil which oxidizes quickly and at low temperatures. And those become problems. And so you don't want to have seed oils unless they are a cold pressed, just came straight from the seed oil. If you're getting industrial oils, those really aren't good. And so hormones are important to every facet of humanness, for lack of a better word. The cells require it. The membrane around the cell is a bilipid layer, so for your cells to actually be healthy, you have to have good fats to make cell walls with. And if you don't have those things, the sooner you get on changing that, the better off you will be. So good quality, don't be afraid of avocados. Don't be afraid of good fats. Don't be afraid of fatty fish. Those are the things that you want. Those are the things that are the healthiest for you. And they're, quite honestly, through the ages, what the body grew up consuming. Look at the carnivore diet, which is now the rage. They're like, oh, you can eat meat and it doesn't hurt you. Well, no, it doesn't really. You get all your amino acids and you get your proteins, and that's enough to make the body run. But a lot of people also get constipated. A lot of people have other issues, and you need that fat to feed the microbiome so that the body is ultimately healthy. And that's what all this is about anyway. I don't understand. I do understand. I understand why it's hard to be healthy because of the environment that we have set up for ourselves. But it's not hard to get back to health once you start to understand these things. If you like this type of content, hit like, hit subscribe. We are putting out a lot more content so that people can be educated about really what is healthy and what is not. And then we try to give some context to it. Because it's one thing to be eating a pastured grass-fed steak that has great fat and good marbling and good flavor, lots of amino acids, lots of omega-3s, even in red meat. And then you chase it down with a soda, or you chase it down with a candy bar, because that sugar then oxidizes the fat. It turns it into mush. It makes your body have high insulin. It just starts a bad cascade. And so we're here to help you kind of start to weed through that. With that being said, I'm about done with my drive time. So you all stay healthy. You all stay safe. Right now it's pretty cold in Indiana, so stay as warm as you can. Have a great day.